Chris Rock is performing a stand-up gig tonight in Boston, his first appearance since the Oscars. If you were Chris, what would be the first joke you'd tell, assuming you'd want to acknowledge Will Smith's slap? Or wear shin guards and say my next joke is about Kevin Hart's wife. You think you're tired of Kevin Hart short jokes, then some glorious bastard like you comes along, lol that was good. We are gonna need the fire depth for that burn. Bill Burr did something similar on his Monday morning podcast, talked about how one of the most iconic and memorable events in pop culture history happened at the Oscars. Something he never thought in a million years he would see. A drummer turned director won the Oscar for Best Documentary Feature, and he went on and on about how Questlove did such a great job on his doc and deserved to win the Oscar. Then at the very end he was like, also, I'd pay $1 million to see Chris Rock's next show. Laughed his ass off and moved on to the next topic. Should Questlove won an Oscar? I read someone's tweet that said that between Questlove and the slap, it was the most Philly night in Hollywood ever. Had me like, no, I didn't see anybody holding their seat with a traffic cone. Come out wearing a helmet and with 2 bodyguards by his side. Yep, just walk on stage with a full face crash helmet on, tinted visor down. Get to middle of stage, stop, flip the visor up, and look around at the audience, as if trying to pick someone out, maybe using those little theater binoculars. Adam Sandler and Paul Blart. So how many of you got your tickets in the last 3 days? Scalpers working overtime. I was looking to get tickets to it, they're over $1,000. Entering the stage wearing an neck support. Getting wheeled on stage in a wheelchair would be hilarious. With his head shaven bald. This reminds me of Pee Wee Herman's first show, after getting out of jail for allegedly masturbating in a theater. He walked out and shouted, "Heard any good jokes lately?" Chris Rock will either make one joke about it and move on like Pee Wee did, or he could make his entire act nothing but jokes about Will Smith's wife. I think everyone's hoping for the latter. Richard Pryor stopped doing comedy for a bit after he accidentally lit himself on fire freebasing cocaine. His first show back, he looked around the audience for a bit and said, "Anybody got a light?" I'd also like to point out, Pee Wee was cleared of those charges and it's believed he never actually did that. Same with Fred Willard. Many people don't know, but years ago, he was accused of the same thing, but it apparently never happened. Chris in these comments taking notes. Unless Chris is up lol. Yes, Chris Rock is definitely coming to Reddit to get his jokes. If I knew Will was gonna get so mad about my making fun of his wife, I would've asked one of her boyfriends for permission first. Stealing this from somewhere else, but in the same vein, I have to give Will props. He's a better man than me. I'd never defend someone else's girl like that. Yep, this one. It's in Chris's voice. Exactly the cadence and style. I'm gonna open with some alopecia jokes. And then 2 huge bodyguards walk out and stand on either side of him. Bodyguards come out to Here Come the Men in Black. Would they be huge bald dudes too? There might be a conflict of interest there. Publicly thank Will Smith for all the extra ticket sales. This, almost like the humor isn't in a joke at their expense, but in acknowledging how crazy it's been. And then I'd like to personally thank Will, and she will, shall not be named, for the boost in popularity. I ain't been this popular since, well damn, ever. Looks like everybody loves Chris now. She whose name is out ta my fucking mouth. To get started, are there any insecure couples in the front row? Okay man, need y'all to move to the back. This is the first one that made me laugh out loud. You know how you can tell that slap wasn't staged? Will didn't make the studio give Jaden a role. This is one I hadn't heard before. Nice. This is my favorite one. So, I guess you've all heard that G.I. Jane 2 probably isn't happening. This is my favorite. And he says it in a super bummed out tone like that's his only real concern. I thought about how, if G.I. Jane 2 was ever on the books for release, I can see it getting delayed indefinitely. I feel like a joke about Will Smith would just be cheating at this point, but I guess that's never bothered him before. Will would literally fly out to Boston just to slap his ass for that one LMAO. Ouch, that's ice cold. Nice. Now before we start, does anyone here have a wife with a medical condition that I need to be aware of? Lol, watch this be Chris Rock who made this post and you just made him a couple more million indirectly. I can hear now before we start, in my head in Chris Rock's voice, and nothing has ever sounded more right. He really deserved the award for Best Actor, because after watching the movie Ali, I thought he actually knew how to throw a punch. Supposedly he made a similar joke backstage after the incident according to a source. He said something like, "I just got hit by Muhammad Ali, and I don't even have a scratch." Allegedly, lol. Open hand, because paper beats rock. Well, after my busy schedule of producing Will's biggest hit in years, I was able to make it here tonight. Backquote, now we know why he didn't win for Ali. Petition to let Chris Rock read all of these from his phone on stage. So, I fired one of my joke writers Monday. This one. LMAO. I heard Jada can't take jokes, so I imagine she's divorcing Will Smith soon.